Cloverfield is a found footage movie about a monster attacking Manhattan. The original trailer was shown in theaters before the first Transformers movie, and all the characters have their own MySpace pages. And when it was released, theaters actually had to put a warning on the posters that it could cause motion sickness. I bet some of those theaters were really gross. It opens with a property of the government warning not to duplicate, and then we see the inside of Rob's house with Beth, and notice how there's a timestamp on the bottom left? Then there's like 3 minutes of them talking about going to Coney Island. So jump to May 22nd with Jason for some reason filming and Lily getting supplies for the party they're throwing for Rob. So they were at the store at 6:45, and yet they're in a stairwell of their apartment at 6:48. How close was the store to their apartment, and why did they choose to take the camera to film stuff? Then we meet Hud, who we won't see much of since he films most of it, which is why his name is Hud. Oh look, the timestamp's gone now. I don't know why it disappears, but I assume it's because the director didn't want to deal with figuring out the time the entire movie, or he realized that it was getting kind of annoying. And Hud tries to get Marlena to give a testimony to Rob, but she tries saying no. But he just stands around and forces her to do it, and then she just kind of finds a reason to ditch him. But Rob eventually shows up, and Beth and I guess her new boyfriend. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be fine. Or it'll be really awkward. Eventually Rob asks Hud about the tape he's using, which Rob said it was already in it, which explains why there's random scenes from a month ago. And oh look, this started a fight. Who could have seen that coming? So this fight starts at 11:40, and it is now 12:10, which means this fight has been going on for half an hour. By the way, good on them for actually getting this clock's time right. But Lily reveals the reason for the fight is a secret, but Hud goes around and tells everyone anyway, because he's an idiot. So after around 18 minutes of party crap, an earthquake happens, so they decide to go to the roof, because that's where you want to go during an earthquake. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine. Then they all go down to the street, and the Statue of Liberty's head just gets launched down it. And they made this thing way too big. The largest width of the head is 10 feet, which means that all of these people who are standing around it would have to be 4 feet tall at the tallest. If you're gonna show a size comparison, at least get it right. And then we catch a glimpse of the monster, who I'm just gonna call Clover, and bye building. Okay, there's about 3 minutes between Hud filming Clover and him showing the people the recording of it. Then there's 10 seconds of old film before it gets back to the people reacting to what they just saw. This means that Hud would have had to show them that, and then fast forward the tape to where it was instantly. Not only is that impossible, why would he do that? They all decide to evacuate, so they try to cross Brooklyn Bridge in order to get out. But they all stop so Rob can talk to Beth, and bye Jason! This part is why the theaters had to start putting a warning on the posters that this movie could cause motion sickness. But the military gets here, and why is this TV showing SpongeBob? Did someone just get bored of the news and turn it to a cartoon? But anyway, these things start falling off of it and attacking the military because, well, they'll need something to cause tension later on. But since these guys are all so smart, instead of evacuating, they'd all decide to go rescue Beth, but end up in the middle of a military attacking Clover. So after giving the audience motion sickness again, they end up in the subway system. And gee, I wonder who sponsored this movie. So they eventually decide to start walking down this dark tunnel, and this camera has the best light ever. Seriously, there's no way any handheld camera would have a light this good. But Hud starts remembering this totally appropriate event.
Hey, do you guys remember a couple of years ago when that guy was lighting homeless people on fire in the subway?
Jesus, Hud.
I just can't stop thinking how scary it would be if a flaming homeless guy came out of the dark right now.
Hud is hilarious. Apparently this thing has night vision now, and god damn it. So these things attack and bite Marlena, and just listen to the sound they make. Can you imagine getting attacked by these things and just having to make this sound? Why did they think this was intimidating? Okay, I'm done playing it, I promise. but anyway, they get away and, well, I wonder who else sponsored this movie. Look, they even have the Transformers movie that their titleless trailer played before. And they eventually get to the brightest store in the world and get dragged into a military tent. So Melina gets sick and then her stomach explodes. So they all leave and get to Beth's apartment that is... yeah, I'm sure she's fine. Even though they did go to the other building, why are they expecting the elevators to work? These people are dumb. But they get to the top and yeah, this seems like a good idea. And they finally find Beth and decide the best way to get her out of this is to just rip her out. But to be fair, I don't know what else they could have done. And they finally get downstairs and see Clover getting shot some more. Seriously, this thing is basically invincible. And they decide to give the audience motion sickness one more time before making it onto the helicopters. I don't know why, but Lily gets put on a separate helicopter for some reason. I guess because they wanted to make sure that someone in this group survived. Anyway, the rest of them get into this helicopter just as the military bombs Clover. And do they really expect people to believe that it's dead? 'Cause no. Why was the pilot flying so close to it anyway? You would think he would want to get as far away from it as possible. I guess they crashed so hard that it knocked the tape forward. And that doesn't even make sense. Also, why is there a frame of King Kong in this? But what makes less sense is that they barely got hurt from this, and yet the pilots are dead. But they start to run, and Hud goes back for the camera, and how the hell did he not see this gigantic thing right in front of him? Yeah, just stand there, I'm sure it'll become your new best friend. Or not. He kind of deserved to die. Then Rob and Beth grab the camera and seek refuge under the bridge, as the military just bombs it all, so they both die. I can't believe the tape survived this, or really any of this for that matter. But then it cuts back to a month ago, and hey, what's that in the background? I do like the fact that this is a found footage film, because it adds to the atmosphere of not knowing what's going on, and it gives a good excuse for not showing too much of Clover until towards the end. It does cause some issues though of not being able to see in parts, and it makes the camera move around a lot. The acting is mostly believable, and the actors do a good job of showing how the relationship between the characters change throughout the runtime. And for being from 2008, the CGI holds up pretty well, with the destruction of the city, and the monster looks mostly real. It would be nice if it would explain where the monster came from, or what the things were that were coming off of it, or what exactly happened with Marlena's bite. Oh well, I'm sure the sequels will explain it. Don't forget to do the YouTube stuff, and thanks for watching.